This week on the Digital Marketing Scoop, we're talking about some of our favorite software and hardware that we use to create content for ourselves and for our clients. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop. So this week we're chatting about some of the software we use, some of the hardware we use to create the podcasts, to create social media posts, basically kind of a lot of the software that we would use on a day-to-day basis.
Every day, yep.
And also we'll chat about maybe some of the hardware bits we use as well for the podcast, and some ideas we might have that you could use to create to start a podcast like really quickly and really cheaply as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to kick off, so Jen, with some of the imagery kind of tools we use?
Yeah, so we use a range of them. I mean, first and foremost, we like as a digital agency, we do use Photoshop and the Adobe Suite, and like those can be complicated starting points for anyone starting out with kind of image editing and stuff. But like there's so many good quick tools out there as well. So one example would be we use Canva a lot. Placeit.net is one of my favorite ones to use. It's really, really, really good if you want to create unique stock photos, essentially. So what it does is, say, for example, you have a clothing company and you want to see what the t-shirts or jumpers or whatever would look done. Like you can put the designs on them on people, and it just looks like a stock photo very, very easily. I've used that a few times as well for people. The Placeit.net, though, is really good because you can kind of go in and go, right, I want to make an Instagram story or anything, and it has really nice motion graphics and everything with it as well, and it just takes no experience to use.
Cool. Yeah, Canva is really nice as well for like on Facebook and Twitter, just making nice cards. So just, you have your imagery, you want to put text in a particular area. It's just so quick and easy.
And it looks professional. It doesn't. No one's going to think that it's been, not done in Photoshop, essentially, because the standard is Photoshop, really. But I mean, there's so many other ones, and I mean, like especially with Canva, I mean, they integrate as well with a lot of the free stock photo websites. So like. On the left hand side, you might actually know it's kind of hard to find actually, but there's 3 dots at the very bottom, and if you click on that, it'll say import from Pixabay and these kind of places as well, so you can search for stock images that you might need for a background or this, that, and the other directly from Canva now, which is great. We have
a subscription as well with big stock photo as well for stock photos, which is nice because a lot of the stock photo sites where you go to buy an individual image, it can actually be stupid amount of money,
like 50-60 quid sometimes. It's easy.
So big stock photo, you have a monthly subscription, you get like 50-60 images a month for that. So obviously you may not need something that big depending on what you're doing, but for us it works very well, and it's a much more reasonable price because we would use a lot every month than paying individually for images.
And like Shutterstock do those kind of deals and stuff as well. I mean, the good thing about them is that you can go back in and always re-download one from a previous month as well. Or if you've gotten to the stage where we're at, where you can't actually remember how many you've downloaded or what has been used for what, you can go back in, see that it's already been downloaded, and choose a different image.
And then video, then I suppose I know one I've used pretty regularly here, and you as well, is Wondershare Filmora. It's nice. Again, a very easy video editing tool. Yeah,
it's a really stripped back version of the kind of really high tech kind of Adobe ones you'd see. For us here, it's perfect because it's very quick and easy to get. I mean, I do all of the podcast videos on it. Once I get them through, and then I actually cheekily sometimes do the podcast audio from there as well. So I'd pull it into Audacity, and that's a podcast tool. It's a little bit separate, but what you can do is strip the audio and pull it back in, and you can export it high res as well from Filmora, Wondershare Filmora. So there's actually loads of little cheeky tricks that you can do inside in Filmora. I use it way more than I thought I would have.
It's a nice simple video editing tool, basically. And after you chop out little clips as well from the podcast, I use a tool like Blurbiz. Just you literally import your video in, so you can put text above and below the video, so you don't have to play around in anything complicated. Blurb is literally you just drag your text into the top, drag your text into your bottom, type what you want in, export in 1080p, and off you go. And then you have those nice little your video in the middle with your text above and below. So that's Blurbiz. It's a nice, again, very simple tool that makes video editing much easier.
Yeah, and like on the note of putting in text and stuff, Capwing is really good for subtitles. So you just upload your video and click the language. I think it supports tons of languages. I don't know how many, but just put in English Ireland and auto generate. Now it's not 100%. Like I usually, however long the video is usually how much time I gauge in my head will take me to do the subtitles, because majority of them are right. It's only a matter of me going back in and editing them. So every time I put up this one, it's the digital, I think it comes up the digital weekend like scope, microscope or something, just very little changes, but you'd have to go back in and double check that.
Put that down to my Cork accent.
Yeah.
So then in terms, I suppose, on the podcast, in here, if you're watching a video, we use mostly Rode microphones.
Yeah.
There's a Rode Rodecaster unit basically that we plug all your microphones into it, hit record. It's a very simple unit. There's actually a lot more we should be doing with it.
Yeah.
We can, because there's programmable buttons, we can put our intros in and put sound effects, so we can have like applause.
There's me slaving away on Filmora putting in the intro sound.
So we really should play around that a bit more ourselves.
Definitely, yeah.
But to actually get a podcast up and running, I mean, you can literally use your phone.
Yeah.
Use your phone as Anchor is the podcast app you can use to record it and distribute it. Really, all you need is a microphone that you can plug into the phone.
Yep.
And a client of ours is using Shure microphone. So it's literally going to Amazon, type in Shure iPhone mic. It's I think it's around €120 or so, but you'll get crystal clear audio out of it. That's
the important thing. Like, you can download the Anchor app and stuff, and you can start playing around with podcasts, but just make sure to have quality sound. Yeah. It's so important for video and podcasts. But I mean, I listened to a podcast the other day, and just comparing it to another separate podcast, I was just like, I actually can't listen to it. Just you get all the background noise
and background noise.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's obviously hugely important, but it doesn't have to be a massive upfront cost.
No. I mean, you can get pretty decent mics, even less than the 129 one. I mean, you just invest in a mic, really, more than anything. Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything else? Any other tips, tricks, tools, software?
No, I definitely recommend anyone who's curious about kind of making kind of quirky Instagram stories and stuff to check out Placeit, because most of the stuff there is kind of working with stock imagery and stuff, but it has a really good Instagram video maker tool as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. That has been this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop.